Trump appears to be, at least behind closed doors, finally admitting defeat on his signature policy, that being doing everything he can to make things more expensive for you and your family. Of course, tariffs are the biggest one of those things. And he's implied since getting elected that tariffs are awesome, there's no downside, and they solve literally every problem. But the thing is, they don't. That's not how any of that works. And they have raised prices for the American taxpayer. And so, with the recent election going so poorly for the Republicans, and this crisis starting to develop between Donald Trump and many of his followers and some of their representatives like Marjorie Greene on the topic of affordability, all of them are like, hey, Zoran Mamdani's running away with this thing. Maybe we could do something to bring down prices. And it looks like they're gonna do that. It looks like they're actually going to be scaling back the tariffs at least a little bit. And so we're going to brand this under Trump tacoing once again, him saying, no, this is awesome, I'm gonna stand strong on this. And thankfully, he is running for the hills. This is Trump cowardice, though, that I am glad to see, because I want these prices to go down. And I think that in some cases, this could result in that. Although, as we're gonna get into, not necessarily as much as he might hope. So they're apparently preparing broad exemptions to certain tariffs in an effort to ease especially elevated food prices. That seems to be the thing they're focusing on now. We'll see where it goes from there. The change would apply to certain reciprocal tariffs that the president announced in April, including on products coming from countries that have not struck trade deals with the administration. That is an important point that we will return to. The exemptions are expected to include beef and citrus products, although the people cautioned that President Trump has not made a final decision. But here's the issue. So we know that, like, for instance, the tariffs on Brazil, that makes things from Brazil cost more. That includes things like coffee, stuff like that. The issue is that lowering them might not totally ease the problem at this point. So the CEO and co-founder of Helios AI, a food chain supply management company, told Axios lower tariffs may help at the margins, but consumers shouldn't expect a big drop in prices because the climate risks pushing coffee specifically higher are unchanged. I just wanted to focus on that because nobody talks about climate change anymore, and I feel like we've all just sort of given up on doing absolutely anything about that. And that's gonna be bad for a lot of reasons having to do with the climate, with our health and all that. But also, I just wanna remind everyone, it's gonna raise the cost of a number of goods around the world, particularly agricultural products. And so that is still a problem. We're not doing anything about that, and he's not even tacoing on the topic of the climate, unfortunately. And also in that email to Axios, they pointed out that the tariff relief being talked about right now only encompasses about 7% of US imports. So there's still a lot of issues. And I want everyone to remember that while tariffs have driven prices up across a wide range of different product categories, in the area of food, like, yes, it has contributed to that, but there's a lot of other things that Trump has done that have contributed to that he isn't indicating that he's backtracking on. In particular, their mass deportation scheme. We said ahead of time that was gonna drive up the cost of food, and it is. We're not yet seeing any massive reductions in tariffs on Canada or Mexico particularly. That's gonna have a big effect on agricultural products. And so this might be something, but it might not be much. And there's also some ripple effects too, in that if he wants to, in his mind, maybe do very limited reductions of tariffs on agricultural products, he's gonna do that. But that also hurts his quest to, for instance, get those trade deals he's been talking about. He had talked about having 90 trade deals in 90 days, and obviously they got like 6 in 9 months and counting. So that was never gonna happen. But these reciprocal tariffs, as he calls them, were a tool to try to get those trade deals to happen. If he's now starting to poke holes in that, which I'm glad that he is, and I don't care if he ever gets these new trade deals, but from his point of view, it is gonna reduce his leverage to get those deals. So this is a very late change in this policy, and I think it can potentially help a little bit, and he could certainly use the help going to the midterms, but it also has some secondary side effects that I think could be tough for Trump in other areas. Brett, what do you make of all this?
So in politics, if you're losing in any given issue area, typically what you do is you just pick another issue area and you focus on that and hope the conversation is about that. And Trump is the best at doing basically something they teach you not to do, which is to tell people who are suffering that they're doing fine. He's a really good liar. He's great at telling, like, whenever the Democrats go, like when the Kamala's like, the Biden economy is strong, everybody's like, I just doesn't feel that way, I'm sorry. But Trump is the person who goes, the price of milk is much lower now. Gas is free. And he only this time is not able to get everyone to go along with him on that. Add a little Epstein cracks and all that stuff. And he is obviously panicking. How do I know? He's changing his position, which usually he just takes two conflicting positions. He doesn't ever really undo something he previously did. And in this scenario, that is exactly what's happening, which should show you just how dire he perceives the situation to be. Like, he never apologizes when he does anything wrong. In this time, he's basically trying to roll back tariffs.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, we're just like, we lose our leveraging anyway. And as James Carville said, originally of the Perot run in 1991 or 92, it was, that's the single biggest act of masturbation in history, is this tariff thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it also, by the way, we were warned by Donald Trump that getting rid of these tariffs would be an economic apocalypse for America. So I'm a little bit worried about that going forward. Of course, that was just another lie. But anyway, so look, I think that they're trying to come up with something. They've got to like very narrowly thread between different issue areas. They need to be seen to be doing something, and he has been doing, as you said, sort of lying about the cost of things. The issue is that while he might be, in your view, comparatively better at selling that sort of lie, I don't think he's been doing an amazing job of it so far. And the issue is that you see Trump on TV saying the price of milk is down, but then like the counter argument is when you go to the grocery store and you look at the price, and the number doesn't really lie. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.